That's fine. I am.
How's everyone doing today?
Yeah.
Good? Excellent. All right. Before we begin, does anyone have anything, any parts of your body or anything that you want to focus on today? If you don't want to talk, you can type it into the chat. Anything? No? Okay. Let's find our comfortable seat. We're going to do some breath work today to begin. So there was a I can't remember the exact details, but I feel like it was in Alabama. They just decided that yoga is allowed in schools as long as there's no Hinduism taught. And when I first started teaching, I was in South Florida, and there was a very liberal community, but there was also a lot of other people. And I remember people would ask me to come and teach at their church, but then when we talked to the people in charge, the elders at the church, they would get really upset because they felt like this was a religion. And what I found was that, well, it's not a religion. But that for people who are religious, this can be a really nice time to connect with that spirituality, or that time for contemplation, or that time to pray. So I just want to offer that to you if that's something that you've been looking for more time for. This is a good space for that. So we'll start with our breath work today. We're going to do some alternate nostril breathing. So I like to do it with just one hand, but I guess you could do it with two. Seems a little harder. So first, 2 fingers curl into your palm, and then thumb over, I do my right hand, so right thumb over my right nostril, and then ring finger over my left nostril. And you might also like to do this with your fingers on your forehead. Some people find that like a little easier to keep the hand up. You can also, if your arm gets tired, you can't quite see this. You can also rest your elbow on your knee. We're not going to be doing it for that long. So let's take a deep breath in, and then cover the right nostril and exhale through the left. Let everything out. And then we'll inhale for a count of 4. Squeeze both nostrils. And then we'll exhale for a count of 6. Inhale through the right. Retain. Exhale through the left for a count of 6. Inhale for 4. Retain. Exhale right. Inhale right. Retain. Exhale left. Inhale left. Retain. Exhale right. Inhale. Retain. Exhale left. Inhale left. Retain. Exhale right. Inhale right. Retain. Exhale everything out through the left. And then release your hand down. Let your arms and shoulders relax. Let's take a few deep breaths. And then you can open your eyes. Now, usually I would walk around the class with some tissues right now. So if you need a tissue, feel free to go get it. Otherwise, let's come down onto our backs. Maybe knees come into the chest, gently rocking from side to side. Find some release in the low back. And then let's wrap the arms around the body. So we're going to cross the left arm over the right arm and just reach back, grabbing whatever you can, maybe grabbing the inner edges of your shoulder blades. And then pressing the elbows towards the thighs or towards the knees, see if you can find a little stretch in the upper back shoulder blades. On your next inhale, open your arms wide. We'll cactus the arms. And we're just going to let them relax a little bit, feeling the difference between expanding the shoulder blades and letting them relax. And then on your next exhale, we'll cross the other way, right arm on top, reaching as far back as you can and around, and then elbows towards the thighs or towards the knees. Let's gently release, come back to our cactus position. Deep breath in, full exhale out. Now notice if there's any intention that you want to set for your practice today. If you want to focus on a part of your body or a quality of your breath or a word or a phrase or a person, go ahead and set that now. And if you don't have one, that's also fine. If you don't have one, really, then your intention is just to be in the moment. So let's bring the feet to about hip width distance. We're going to keep the arms as they are, nice and relaxed. Heels are just about under the knees, maybe just a little further forward than your knees. We're going to start to press into the feet, feel the glutes engage, and then start to lift up, really keeping the weight in the heels to start, coming into your bridge pose, inhaling to lift, and then we'll stay for the exhale. On your next inhale, roll yourself down. And then exhale to lift up. So let's start to go really slowly up and down. As you get up to the top of your lift, make sure that your low back is staying long and not taking on the brunt of this exercise. We're going to take 3 more rounds. And then we'll lift up one more time. This time we'll stay in the lifted position. So in this position, I want you to press into your heels and then squeeze your knees towards each other just enough that you feel that engagement. So here your engagement should be in the belly and mostly in the glutes. On your next breath, we're going to try to push the heels away from the hips, like you're trying to straighten out your legs. And notice that now the engagement is probably a lot more in the quads. Relax back, squeeze the heels towards your hips. Feel this in the hamstrings and the glutes. And then pressing the heels away, try to straighten the legs. Feel this in the quads. Let's stay with the quads for a little while. So there are a lot of poses in yoga, asana, we call them. And, you know, if you ask a teacher, what is the point of this pose? Everyone is going to have a little bit of a different opinion. But I think the truth is, But a lot of poses can be done in different ways to target different parts of the body, different chakras, different focuses. Let's go ahead and squeeze the heels back. And so the focus that I'm offering you, which is generally going to favor glutes more than quads, if that's not what you need, go ahead and switch it to what works best for your body. For most of us, our glutes are underutilized and our quads take over. And so that's why I tend to focus more on the glutes. But if your body is the opposite of that, go ahead and focus on the quads more. Let's switch, trying to straighten the legs out, feel the quads. And then back to center. See if you can bring the weight evenly into the balls of the feet and the heels. Squeeze the knees in just a little bit. Lengthen the tailbone, engage the belly. Now let's bend the elbows, bring them in by the sides, palms face each other, fingers wide. And then we're gonna lift the right leg. See if you can relax neck and shoulders. And then relax the right foot down, re-engage. So spread the weight through the feet. Squeeze the knees in a bit. Relax the neck and shoulders, and then we'll bring the weight into the right leg, lift the left. And we'll release down, left foot down. Keep the hips lifted. We're gonna toe heel the feet out wide. Now from here, see how it feels to bring the knees in towards each other and then out away from each other. Toe heel the feet in one step, bring the knees wide and then towards each other. Toe heel them in one more, wide and towards each other. And then once more, feet should be about at hip width distance now, maybe even closer, maybe almost touching. We're gonna bring the knees wide, keep the hips lifting. See if you can bring the soles of your feet touching so that you can press your feet together and use that engagement to lift the hips just a little bit higher. And then slowly releasing the hips down. Let the knees relax out to the sides. We're going to clasp the hands behind the head. Lift the chin towards the chest, stretch through the back of the neck. Maybe pull the head over towards the right shoulder. And then the left shoulder. And then back to center. We're going to release the head down, but keep the hands where they are. On your next exhale, start to curl your head and chest up. So we're finding a little crunch here. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths. Really trying to squeeze, like the flesh above your pubic bone is going to pull in towards your belly button. Your front low ribs are going to squeeze in towards your belly button. And then your low back is going to press down just a little bit so that the shoulders can lift up a little higher. Now from here, we're not going to lower down very much, but we're going to start to find some twisting. So on your exhale, right elbow towards the left knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left elbow towards right knee, back to center. So start to find your own rhythm here. And if you want to go a little faster and not follow your breath exactly, that's okay too. Remember that as you come through center, we're not lowering down. Let's take one more round. And then back to center, release down. Bring your knees together. Bring your heels a little wider and just let the hips rest for a breath. Now let's extend the legs out long. Arms are going to reach alongside the ears. And on your exhale, we're going to start to roll up. So those same engagements of the flesh above the pubic bone and the front low ribs kind of pulling towards each other is going to apply here. Exhaling, start to lift up. And then hinging forward. If your mat got crazy, you can straighten it out. And then we'll lower back down. Same thing. Nice and slow. Back up. And forward. Find a little stretch. And then down. So we're trying not to use any momentum here. If you find that your arms, you're kind of waving your arms forward to pull yourself up, then maybe hands come to shoulders instead. Let's take 10 more rounds of breath. Last one. All right, let's bend the knees, press into the heels, keep the feet flexed. We're going to come into a modified boat pose. So this, you can lift your heels here, but you just don't need to. And for a lot of people, it just creates more tension in the fronts of the hips. So let's keep the heels down, reach the arms forward, and then lean back. See how that feels. Find the engagement in the core. So here we usually try to lift the chest, but we want to make sure that the core is still engaged. So for that, we do need a little bit of, it's easier when we find a little bit of rounding in the spine. Let's cross the hands over the chest. And then we're going to start to find some crosses here as well. So right elbow towards the left knee and vice versa, back to center, and then twist. Exhale as you twist. Inhale back to center. So we're not really coming forward for this one, just twisting. Let's take 5 more, or 6 if you need it to balance. And then back to center, reach the arms forward, and then lift up. Let's cross the ankles, roll forward onto hands and knees. Let's step right back to plank. First, pressing back, flexing the feet, finding a stretch in the calves if you can. And then shifting forward, pointing the toes, working into the shoulders a little bit more. Press back and up to your down dog. Let's maybe find some movement here. Anything that feels good, you can shift the hips to the right or left, bend into one or both knees, lift the heels, move the shoulders. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, slow, lower down, really slow. Inhale to lift up to cobra or baby cobra. Press down into the tops of the feet, lift the knees. Let's release forehead down, tuck the toes. Inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, down dog. On your next exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale to your half lift. So lifting up until the torso is parallel to the ground, press into the heels, and then get really long through the torso. So tailbone reaches back, crown of the head reaches forward. Now see if you can keep the chest open as you hinge down a little bit more. On your exhale, lift your heels a little bit or a lot. And then inhale, lift yourself up to standing. Let's take a few breaths, feeling how it is to stand on the toes with the heels high. And then on your next exhale, hinging forward again, heels stay high if you can, or lifted, maybe not high. Coming down maybe a little bit lower than parallel to the ground, and then lifting back up on inhale. Let's do that 3 more times. So really feeling into the back of the body, calves, hamstrings, glutes, and back. One more. This time arms can reach up overhead, belly engages, tailbone reaches down, heels as high as you can. And then slowly lowering the heels down. Weight into the heels. Feel everything follow that. As the weight comes into the heels, hips come back, shoulders come back, head comes back, so that the weight is stacked over the heels. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge forward with a flat back. Plant the hands, step back to plank. Deep breath in on your exhale, slow lower down to your belly. Inhale, lift the right leg, press down into the right hip bone. So the right front hip point is pressing into the mat as the right leg lifts, and then we'll lift the head and the chest. Press down into the left foot. Start to press into your hands, lift up just a few more inches. Really drag the chest forward so mid-back is engaged here. Let's release everything down. And then inhale, left leg lifts, pressing down into the left hip point. And then inhale to lift up head and chest. Start to press into the hands. Lift up a little higher, drag the chest forward. Low back is really engaged here. Let's release down. Bring your hands under your forehead. And on your next exhale, press into the pubic bone, lift the legs. See if you can get the legs a little wider. Now bending the knees, flex the feet, press the heels up. Pubic bone is still pressing down. Let's release the knees down, legs down, press back to child's pose. On your next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale to lift the heels high. And then exhale, lower the knees down. We're going to keep the toes tucked and lift up so that you're kneeling. So here again, tailbone lengthens down and you might start to feel a stretch in the quads just from that movement. We're going to bring hands to the hips and then the right foot is going to step forward. Not a huge step. We're going to keep about a right angle in the knee, the hips, and the other knee. Left toes are tucked under. We're going to focus on that stretch. So the more the tailbone scoops under you and forward, the more you'll feel that stretch in the front of the left quad. Now we're going to make the left hand into a fist, press it into the right hand, bring it in front of the chest. So press until you really feel the arms working. And then we're going to lift the left knee just an inch or two off the ground, maybe 3 inches. Keep pressing the hands. Squeeze the glutes. Press into the right heel. On your next inhale, straighten both legs. Keep the left heel lifted. Keep the low back long. We're going to lift the right heel. Now start to turn your gaze upward. Keep the hands pressing. See if you can look straight up. On your exhale, right heel down, left knee down. We're going to step back to our kneeling position. Tuck the right toes, step the left foot forward. So first, focusing on that stretch in the front of the right thigh, tailbone lengthens down and forward. Hands can relax. And then we'll make a fist in the right hand and press it into the left hand. Really feel the arms engage. Make sure the right toes are tucked under. We'll lift the right knee just an inch or 2 or maybe 3. Staying low, keep the hands pressing. Press into the left heel, pull the left hip back. Let's straighten both legs. Keep the right heel lifted, and then lift the left heel as well. Start to turn your gaze upward, looking up as high as you can. On your exhale, start to lower down, left heel and right knee. And then release your hands. Step back to plank. Strong through the core. On your exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale, press back up. We'll do that 2 more times. You can use your knees here. And then back to down dog. On your next exhale, start to bend the elbows. Bring them towards each other, forearms down. Press into the forearms, press the chest back and find a stretch in the upper back and through the back of the body. Three more breaths here. Now pressing into the hands, lift the elbows, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale to that half lift. And then exhale, release down. Find the stretch in the back of the body. Maybe bring the weight a little more into the balls of the feet than the heels. On your next inhale, lift all the way up. We're going to bring the big toes to touch for our chair pose. Heels can stay under the hips, so toes are going to be turned in just a little bit. And then sitting back, hands to heart. So maybe you sit back a lot, maybe a little less. It's up to you. On your exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So left elbow to the outer edge of the right thigh and finding your twist. Now, if you have issues with your SI joint being hypermobile, take a more gentle twist. Maybe left elbow to the left knee. On your next breath, weight into the right leg, step the left foot back. So here we're going to pull the right hip back and then press into the left foot. Open a little bit more. On your next breath, turn forward, lift up, high lunge. So here again, lengthening the tailbone to find that deep stretch, this time in the front of the left hip, more than in the quad. Quad is going to be engaged to lift the knee. Maybe turn the gaze up. Maybe press the palms together. On your next inhale, straighten the right leg, turn the hips to the left. We're going to set up for Trikonasana, so make sure that the heels are not aligned. Right foot can step out to the right side a bit. And then also, make sure that the right knee isn't locked. Just straight and gentle. We're going to lean forward, towards the right, over the right leg. And first find the stretch in the right hamstring and inner thigh. And then as you're ready, left arm can reach up. You can start to turn your chest towards the ceiling. And then press your left hand as though there were a wall right in front of you. Press into that imaginary wall. Should feel that in the left shoulder. On your next exhale, you're going to bend into your right knee. The right hand can come to the inside or outside of the right knee, or you can bring forearm onto the thigh. From here, left arm alongside the left ear, reaching left heel and left hand away from each other. On your next exhale, we're going to bring left hand down. The right hand is going to come to the inside of the right foot if it's not already there. And then you're going to have two choices here. First choice is to take a stretch. Left knee down, shift the hips forward and the chest up. Option two is to bend the elbows, bring the right knee onto the right elbow, and then lift the left leg. When you're ready, step back to plank. Let's take a few breaths here. And then slow lower down. Inhale to baby cobra first. Squeeze the elbows back towards your hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then press into the hands, lift just an inch or two or three up to a mid cobra pose. Release down. Inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, down dog. So while this is not a resting pose, you might feel like you can take a few breaths here. Find some stillness. And then in another breath or two, we'll travel to the top of the mat. Inhale to your half lift. And exhale, release down. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Bring the big toes to touch, heels a little bit wider, sit back to your chair pose. See if you can lift the chest a little bit just for these first few breaths. And then press into the heels to scooch the knees back. We'll find a twist to the left, right elbow to the outer left thigh. Or if you have that SI joint issue, right elbow to right knee. Start to bring the weight into the left foot. Step the right leg back. Keep your twist, pull the left hip back. Press into the right toes, lift the knee. Let's turn forward, lift up. So again, tailbone is reaching down and forward to find the stretch in the front of the right hip. And then the right knee lifts up. Arms lift. We can press the palms. Let's straighten the left leg, turn the hips to the right, set up for warrior two. Not warrior two, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Left foot can step to the left side to make space. And then make sure you're not locked out in the left leg. Lean forward and down. Come over the left leg. Find the stretch. Left hamstring, left inner thigh. Right arm reaches up. Move the torso over the left leg. And then start to press the hand into that imaginary wall just in front of you. Let's adjust the left hand as we bend into the left knee for extended side angle. So inside or outside of the left foot or forearm to thigh. And then right arm alongside the ear. Turn the chest up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing into both feet. On your next exhale, right hand down. Again, that same option to bring right knee down, shift the hips forward, lift the head to find a stretch, or left hand to the inside of the left foot, bend both elbows, and lift the right leg. When you're ready, step back to plank. Let's take some breaths here. Maybe shifting from side to side. Let's slowly lower down. Inhale to cobra, baby cobra, up dog or sphinx. One more breath here. And then slowly releasing down. Tuck the toes, press up to plank, and then back to down dog. Drop your head down, relax your neck. Now lower the knees down, press back to child's pose. Let's walk the hands all the way over towards the left edge of your mat, maybe even beyond. Stretching through the right side body, maybe turning the chest to the left. Back to center and over to the other side. Finding the stretch in the left side body, maybe twisting to the right. Back to center. We're going to come up to hands and knees, and we're going to come into another little twist here, but the hips should be stable enough to take this, even if you have that SI issue. We're going to bring left arm over to the right side, shoulder down to the mat, looking for a stretch in the left shoulder blade. And then to deepen, right arm reaches towards the top of your mat. Come back to center. Switch sides, right hand over to the left. Come back to center. Come down to your belly. Cactus the arms. So just the same position we were doing in the beginning, except on our bellies instead of on our backs. Start to press right hand into the area under your right shoulder. Roll over. Stretch through the left side of the chest, left shoulder, left arm. Let's come back to center and over to the other side. Come back to center. You might choose to take Shavasana on your belly today, bringing the big toes to touch, letting everything else relax, or you can take your child's pose or come onto your back like we normally do. When you find your comfortable position, bring your focus back to your breath. If you're on your belly, you might notice how the breath feels different moving through your body when the belly is constricted by the weight of your body pressing it into the ground. Keep bringing your focus back to your breath. Start to bring some movement into fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. Make your way up to a seated position when you're ready. Bring hands to heart. Deep breath in. Full exhale out. Om Shanti. May we each find and share a little bit more peace today. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be doing outdoor yoga Tuesday at 5:30 in Cheeseman Park. So let me know if you have any questions about that. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Welcome.